Okay, you have learned a lot by now. And so I want to briefly review exactly what that is. Now you understand the power of being rooted and grounded in your faith in Christ, living out that faith as CEO. You also know that not only is bold required to scale your business to the $1 million impact and 7-figure revenue, but bold is your birthright in Jesus. And you see how you can triple your results, how you can command attention, establish trust, and create demand by standing in your God-given anointing and appointing as the authority for your people. You've also been introduced to the authority-driven funnel matrix that will lead to predictable sales and peaceful profits. And I'm sure you're excited to hit your first $1 million year so that you can tithe back to the Lord that $100,000 check. And finally, in the last episode, you've been given the weekly CEO activities so you can structure a profitable 4-day work week. All told, already you've gotten the faith-fueled strategy, systems, structure, and mindset that, when implemented, promises to change the way you run your business, and those changes will produce dramatically different results. Oh, but we are not done, because today we're covering the most misunderstood necessity to scaling, which is team. Because let's face it, you cannot reach 7 figures alone because you will plateau or burn out. I don't want either one for you. And you don't just want to hire to fill a seat, get a seat filler. No. The goal here is to hire a team of committed A players, those who are all in to doing their part to grow your company's revenue while giving back your time. So today, I want to take you through when to hire and who to hire. But more importantly, I want to show you how to shepherd your team by managing and leading them well, so that they're not an expense, but instead, every team member, in fact, drives revenue into the business. First, when to hire. All right, ideally, yesterday. The next best thing, today. Why is that? Because there's no doubt that you're spending precious hours every week on low-value tasks. Activities that, yes, they may be important, but they're not CEO-level revenue-generating work. Now, right up front, I want to address some thoughts you may be having. You might be saying to yourself, hey, Jude, I can't afford to hire right now. And listen, if you're not yet at 75 to 100K, maybe you don't have to. But if you are at 6 or multi-6 figures, I'm here to say you can't afford not to hire. So keep listening and you'll see why. You might be thinking, hey, Jude, I would love to hire my dream team of A players, but I got to be honest with you, I've gotten burned before, big time. And I'm gun shy, right? You might be thinking, I wasted time and so much money hiring the wrong people. And you might be thinking, hey, you know what? I just feel like it's going to be easier to do things myself. To you, I say, I know how you feel. Why? Because I was you. I made some bad hires along the way. But you know what? That's okay. That's how we learn. You will make hiring mistakes. Everybody does. But don't let past disappointments stop you from honing your skills in hiring and leading others. Because if you do, your business will be capped, as well as your capacity, and your business is going to suffer, if not collapse, if you're doing everything. All right. Now, before you can hire, you first need to know who to hire. And when I say who, I don't mean who as in the person or the role. I mean who as in the skill set. And that is a critical distinction. Don't hire by role, hire by skill set. For example, some may think, you know what, I'm going to hire a VA and I'll have them do everything. I'll have her do my admin tasks, as well as video editing and website design, and hey, maybe even social media posting and blog writing. But can we face the reality here? Video editing requires a certain skill set, as does good, effective blog writing, right? Skills that go above and beyond typical VA work. Hiring by skill set, not by role or title, is what you have to do, right? Because when you do, you're going to get high quality work that's done in less time. Again, going back to our example, a skilled video editor can splice and dice a video quicker and with a much better looking product than your standard VA. period, the end. You know that's true, okay? So on this issue of identifying who you need to hire by skill set, this is really super simple. And I break it all down with my Dream Team protocol. And if you'd like access to a training I did where I break this down step by step, DM me on IG the word Dream Team. I'm over at Judy Weber Co. at Judy Weber Co. on Instagram. Just DM me the word Dream Team and I'll send my Dream Team protocol over to you. Okay, so once you've hired a team member, you've got to manage and lead her well, starting with onboarding. Now, a couple things. What I'm about to say applies whether you're hiring employees or 1099s, subcontractors, okay? That makes no difference. And this is critically important, so please hear me. Never forget that you ultimately call the shots in your company. And don't let your team members forget that either. What I mean is you determine their work. You determine on a 30,000 foot view how the work is done per your company SOPs, right? And you determine their focus, you determine their goals. Too many women hire agencies, VA or social media agencies, and they let them, the agency, dictate what gets done and how it gets done. And sometimes even allowing an agency to house your company's assets, right? I'm talking about marketing assets or even your CRM. I've seen it done, but please don't do that. You don't plug into somebody else's business, even an agency. That agency, every team member plugs into your business. You own and house your business assets, okay? Huge point. All right, so let's get back to onboarding. This is so important because onboarding is your opportunity to acclimate your team members. One of the biggest mistakes you could make with your team is not sharing your annual goals and explaining how their work fits into achieving that goal. And when you don't do that, when you hold back, your team doesn't know what success looks like, right? And they don't know how their work affects others. They feel siloed and unattached. That is not fun. Doesn't feel good. And trust me, A players will not stay with you in that kind of an environment. So onboarding, during that important time, I love onboarding new team members. You will take the time to explain company values, company mission, all of your services, and your company goals. Yes, you share this with every team member. I want to emphasize that. You'll also show them where to access back-end resources they'll need to do their work, including SOPs. Now, there's a lot of confusion about SOPs, but it's real simple. SOPs are the step-by-step showing somebody how to do something. So, for example, an SOP for an admin assistant for checking your inbox. There'd be an SOP for that. Or an SOP so that your marketing team knows how to pitch you for a guest spot on a podcast. There's an SOP for that. Okay. Now, every activity warrants an SOP. It keeps things consistent. And also, as a practical matter, if someone is sick or they move on or you fire them, somebody else can jump in and do that activity. There's nothing to figure out. It's all written out. Okay, super simple. All right, one more critical thing in leading your team is KPIs. You may know these as key performance indicators. I like calling them your Kingdom Productivity Index. But whatever you call them, these KPIs are very important because every team member has 3 to 5 KPIs. These are the expected outcomes of every team member's work. Okay. So for example, that marketing team member responsible for podcast pitching, their SOPs and their KPIs. I want to show you the difference. Okay. So again, we're talking about that marketing team member responsible for podcast pitching. Okay. The SOP shows what do they do? How do they do it? The pitch. How do you pitch? Right? And the SOP would say, here's how you pitch, and you are to, in your daily or weekly work, you are to pitch 10 podcasts a week. That's all a part of the SOP. That is what you're doing, how you're doing it, okay? Now, the KPI for that podcast pitching task would be something like this. Book me, you, the CEO, on 1 podcast a week. Do you see the difference? The SOP says, pitch me to 10 podcasts a week following this SOP, right? This step-by-step. And how you monitor the success of their work in pitching you to 10 podcasts is, did they or did they not book you on one podcast every week? Okay. So again, SOPs is what do they do and how do they do it? The KPIs allow you to measure the success or the outcomes of their work. Now, what I'm about to tell you is the most important thing I want you to walk away with from this episode, okay? Because these KPIs are what ensures that every team member is a revenue generator for the business, either directly or indirectly. What does that mean? Okay. A team member is a revenue generator directly by having their tasks generate clients. Like they are directly in the line of someone going from lead to client. Now, if someone drives revenue into the business indirectly, what that means is that their tasks opens up time on your schedule so that you have more time for high value revenue generating tasks. Does that make sense? Okay, now I really want to drive this point home with this question. Is paying a social media manager $50,000 a year too much? Yes or no? Think about that. What do you think? $50,000 a year. Is that too much? How about this? What if a social media manager is paid $100,000 a year? Is that too much? Well, would it surprise you if I tell you that the answer is it depends? It depends. So what does it depend on? It depends on how much money is that social media manager bringing into the business. So here's an example. If a social media manager's work generates two $10,000 clients each and every month, that means she's bringing in $20K every month into the business, times 12, means that over the course of the year, she's bringing in $240,000 in revenue into the company. So in that scenario, if she's paid $100,000 a year, is that too much? No way. That's great, right? Because you're $140,000 in the plus on that hire. That's amazing. Do you see how that works? Let me give you an admin assistant example. What if indirectly, she opens up 10 hours a week for you to focus on marketing or lead follow-up, or maybe speaking at in-person events or on podcasts so you can get in front of hundreds of your prospects at a time? What is that worth? Especially, the whole point of that is you're doing that work to bring in clients, right? And what if, even beyond that, opening up time for you, what if another aspect of the admin assistant's duties was to reach out to clients, your clients, about the referral program you have? And that on average, that admin assistant brought in one $5K client a month. That would mean that directly she's driving $60,000 in revenue each year. In addition to the 10 hours of your time she's opening it up to expand your visibility, to grow your email list and get your pipeline of right fit prospects and sign more clients. See, now, do you see, if you're paying her 50 grand, you're way up. Do you see the power of KPIs? Okay. So how managing team members, evaluating their impact on your company's bottom line based on KPIs. That's what we're talking about. And so do you understand now what I mean when I say that you are in control of ensuring that every team member is a profit source, not an expense? You're in control. How is that, Jude? Because you've approved the SOPs, the what they're doing and how they're doing it, and expectations there, but you've also done the KPIs. You set those 3 to 5 KPIs that says, based upon the work you're doing, these are the outcomes that you need to produce. Okay, you're in control of that. Now, as you can hear in my voice, I am super passionate about team because I know firsthand how quickly scale can happen when you have a team of true A players in place. And I love working with my clients through every step, from hiring to tracking progress, from difficult conversations and firing to structuring incentivized compensation for team members that go above and beyond. So if you know you need to hire, or maybe you're like, I need help assessing my current team or support around who to let go or how to implement KPIs so your team becomes a profit source for your company, I encourage you to apply to work with me. My mastermind clients get access to nearly 50 templates, samples, spreadsheets, and more, including a sample 40-page employee handbook. plus Voxer access to me, a prior HR director of a $40 million international company. And so through Voxer, you'll be able to talk through team issues and address situations that arise in real time. So to learn more and see if you qualify, complete the application to work with me. The link is in the show notes. All right. In the next episode, we're diving into leveraged lead gen as I walk you through my one-to-many peaceful profits method so you can get high quality, right fit leads at scale. Discover how to collapse time and even turn a stranger into a client without a long, drawn-out nurture. I'll see you there.